Hey guys, okay, so this is our fourth Inkscape tutorial video. I'm gonna go over some text related stuff. So let's make some text, like, I don't know, chicken nuggets. I'm a little hungry. There we go. Okay, so now you see it's just normal text. It doesn't really do much. You can go back to your text thing and you can change the size of it. Let's go ahead and make it bigger, just for presentation purposes. Now, if your box is too small, see how it disappeared? It's because there's not enough space for the text. The text is still there. There's just no space for it. So it's like, I'm not going to show it until you give me enough room to. So if you make it bigger, there you go. It'll show again. Now, if you want the text to be lined next to each other, you just got to make the box big enough. And you can also do things like you can use the enter button to drop things. And you see how it disappeared? It's because there's not enough space again. See, but I'm going to keep it all on one line. All right. Let's see, a couple of things. Now, on my desktop, I have a whole lot. I mean, a whole lot. And yeah, let's see. Let's go to Google real quick. Uh-oh. And let's see, because I have Ubuntu on my desktop. I haven't messed much with Windows in the past couple of years, but I just got this laptop, so I haven't done this on my laptop yet, and I need to because I use a lot of these fonts. But what you can do is like font packages for free, and your mind would be blown at the amount of font packages, like from Font Squirrel, and there's a couple of other good ones. 300, yeah. See this one right here. I actually downloaded these onto my desktop computer on Ubuntu now, and I know for Windows, I mean, there's options for Windows too. This is just what I know, and as far as like, I use the command line or the terminal on Ubuntu to install these, and it was really simple, and I'm sure it's simple on Windows too. But again, I'm still like getting back up to date on Windows. I think the last Windows computer I used was like a 95. Ever since then, it's been Ubuntu, and I've almost put it on my laptop, but I decided not to. And I'm glad I didn't, because there's so many more options as far as software and stuff with Windows than there is with Ubuntu. But there's a lot of good parts of Ubuntu too. And yeah, so yeah, and so I have all these fonts on my desktop, and they're just really cool. But I have the basic fonts on this computer, so we don't have too many options. I think there's like 100, maybe 100 fonts, and a lot of them are just variations of the same font on that come stock. But yeah, I mean, you add these to your computer, and they're automatically added onto Inkscape, and that's cool because when it comes to graphic design, options are key. You don't want to have something that somebody else has up. You don't want to try to deliver a product that looks like something else. It looks like something that somebody's already done, because unless that's what they're looking for, because you want to have kind of add a personality to your products, that's you, but it's also what the customer wants. It's the customer's version of you, basically. And that's only, again, that's if you're trying to sell your work, or work for do this as like a side job or something. And there are a lot of benefits to it. I'm telling you, check it out. And I'll have a couple articles about it on my website once it's up. And again, when my website is up, you'll find it by going to the link under the videos on my YouTube page. In the description are all of my, I apologize. All of my instructional videos, you'll find a link under it. I've got a couple other videos that are instructional, but yeah, we're gonna leave those alone. Okay, so there's two ways to change your font. Now there's the hard way, which is this. Now, and I've played with this a little bit to try it, because I'm lazy and I don't want to click on a bunch of stuff. So I try to do this the easiest way possible. And like, you can click on it and like hit down, but it's only going to go down, and that one doesn't show up for some reason. I'm thinking it's because it's like an Ubuntu or a Linux font. But you have to click again to go up. And see, I like that font right there. That's a nice font. Or you can do the scroll thing. And hold on. Yeah, see, and I thought there was a way to do it. But the best way to do it is to open up your text in font. Now, if you're using the version I have on my Linux operating system, there's going to be, whenever you have your selector tool, there'll be like a font text and font option over here. However, for some reason there's not on this version of Inkscape. So I just have to go to text and font, which isn't that bad. I mean, it could be a lot worse. So, and I make that big enough, and see how the text is right there. So in this way is a lot easier because you can just click and then use your arrow keys and just scroll through and find a font that you like. Let's see. Okay, yeah, let's use that one, or I'm going to. You can use whichever one you want, and then you just apply it. There's also bold, bold italic, stuff like that, but I don't normally use those unless it calls for it. There's different layouts, but this is more for like paragraph size text. It's not gonna do any changes to just a couple words because they're right next to each other. But you will notice difference. Like I think that's center, yeah. See, and then a line to the right, a line to the left, and stuff. Which is really, I mean, it's really cool that this gives you word processor type options for your text. A lot of, I would almost say none of the other free graphic design programs do that. You just have to like import it or something. So this is kind of your one-stop shop for this kind of stuff. Okay, so we have our text. It's chicken nuggets. And I mean it's black. It's got a nice font to it. It flows and everything, and it's nice. But yeah, I mean you can change the color of it if you would like. You can also add a stroke. I use I use Shift and then click on whatever color, and it adds a stroke. See, and that looks pretty slick. What else here? You can do things like, okay, I've got a circle. So, that's why I just Shift click. See, selects all of it. I don't have to drag. I'm using a touchpad, so dragging is a little harder. And then you can go to text and let's see here, put on path. See what it did there? It put it on the path. And this is cool for like logos and insignias. Granted, you might want to make it just like a little bigger because that G is hanging over, you see? Bam, and then we can just like move it over. See? Now it kind of like sits a little better on there. And yes, you can rotate it around. And that's another option with selector. I probably should have gone over, and I'll do that real quick. I mean, okay, so you click on it, you select an object once, right? It's going to give you resize options, and that'll make it bigger, taller, or shorter. This will stretch it out both tall and wide, and this will make it wider or thinner. And yeah, those are good options. But if you click on it again, I don't know what I just did there. Oh, I know what I did, but that's when you click on it, you double click, and it gives you the tool that it was used to make the object. But if you click on it again, it gives you rotating and skewing options. This is your skew. You see how it kind of like leans it? It kind of looks a little 3D-ish almost. I don't know. And that's what that does. And then you got your rotate. And then you've got another skew that skews it up and down as opposed to left and right. See that? Okay, and that can be used for all objects and paths. It's not specific to any one. It's just I should have showed you that in the first or second video, but I didn't. I always get ahead of myself. And again, if you visit my website, if it's up, you'll find written tutorials. I'm a little bit better at writing out how to do things as opposed to making videos because I get scatterbrained. I want to show you everything, and yeah, it just comes out like, and I'm sure you've noticed. But yeah, so. Let's go ahead and like undo that though because we're not excuse me, we're not dealing with like circles and stuff right now. Let's go up to text and see what else we can do. We can put on path, and I could have just removed from path, but I chose to do this way. Flow to frame. See, it won't do anything right now because there's no frame for it to flow to. But if let's see, I change this color and let me put this behind the text, and let's see if this works. Again, this is one of those things I've never used, and I've used a lot of things on here, but I know what I like and I usually stick to it. Okay, see, and all it did was stack the text, and it doesn't matter if there's like a bunch of words. Now, granted, if it's too many words and it's too big of a text, big of a font, it's just going to drop down below it. But it put it in the frame, and in this case, the square is your frame. What else here? Okay, convert to text. Now, that's another one I've never used, but we'll look at it real quick and see what it does. Mm, I don't know. I have no idea. And I imagine if there was like a bunch of objects or something, it would turn them all into text. But yeah, I, I don't know. I don't know what that is. So I tend to stay away from things I don't know for the sake of saving a little face. Okay. Remove manual kerns. Kerns are. Oh man. Okay. Kerns are like. I think they're like the spacing in between your letters, kind of. And this is something that I should have showed you a second ago. You let's say you have. Here, let's do this. Bam. Okay, that's way too far apart in my opinion. So what I would do is I just go over here and I see what I'm doing. I'm making the space between letters, and I think I went too far there. Oh no, I just moved up a little bit. I'm just making it shorter, and so yeah, I'm just gonna hold that. See, and it'll go all the way that way, which can be cool. You could actually do some pretty cool things with that stack like that. But for right now, we're not gonna do that. And another thing you can do is change your words. Was that your okay? See if this is your words or your letters. Okay, these are your letters, and that'll change the space between your letters, and that's usable. Okay, and this one is going to change the space between your words. And then there's some other options over here, and I'm not entirely sure how you would activate those because I've never actually used them. Again, I know what I like, and I'm trying to show you guys enough to where you guys can figure out what you like, but I usually stick to what I know and keep it there. Just like there's a lot of options over here, and I like snap to path and stuff like that. And I've used them a couple times, but overall, a lot of these can be used. Like for instance, like zoom to fit drawing window. I would just prefer to hold down control and use my mouse wheel, or in this case, my little scroll thing on my touchpad to zoom in and out. I just find that to be easier, and it's going to zoom wherever your mouse is. So let's say like your mouse is over here, right? And you want to zoom in. It's going to zoom into that point. You see? And that, to me, that's just easier than going through and like finding the right button and everything. But that's just me, and you might want to play with these. Snap to grid, and there's a grid option and everything. But we'll look at those a little later. For now, I mean, I just want to kind of play with. You see, it's even got spell check on it. I mean, that is cool. That is something you don't find on programs that aren't word processors. I mean, you can't find that on a notepad, and so that's really cool. Removing the annual, see, and it still doesn't do anything. I'm not entirely sure what kerns are. Superscript. Okay, and those are little things you can play with also. Okay, now we've done filters. We've gone over filters, and I don't really think that I need to go over them again. But yeah, I mean, see, like that kind of makes it look like it's behind glass or something, which is a cool effect, especially if you're not like if you're doing like a graphic novel or something using Inkscape. The little things like that just kind of make your artwork look a lot better than without it. Also, I mean, yeah, and you can use that in design work too. ABCs, and you don't just have to use ABCs. These I guess are just set aside because they're mostly used with letters. You see, and that gives it a little glint, a little gleam to it that makes it kind of look like something like it's shiny. But at the same time, you can use any kind of filters that you want. Let's see, like film grain. See, made it look kind of grainy, like something you would see in an old film. I've never used that one before. It didn't do much. It just kind of gave it a little bit of a, I don't know, maybe feathers. But yeah. Okay, so the last thing I want to show you, and again, you can play with the filters, and extensions. I don't know. We'll get into extensions. These, I guess I kind of have to do my homework on them. But yeah, so we'll get into those a little later. But yeah, I mean, you can play with the filters, you can play with the spacing and everything. just to make it the way you want. Now, another thing you can do, and I do this a lot also, and there's probably better ways to get the effects that I want, but this is just easy. Um, you can object to path your text. Okay. Now you didn't see anything actually happen there, but except for you'll notice that it's no longer text. I can't edit it. Like, see, if I click here, it's just gonna like, oh, what do you want to type? Because it doesn't see this as text anymore, right? It's just an object. And the reason that I do this is because you can do things like this. Now, and I'm hitting Control Shift G, and that's ungrouping everything. See what happened? It turned every letter into its own object. So you can move it however you want. And this is another way to like respace things and move things around. See, and all I'm doing is just moving objects. So you can actually respace all your letters, or let's say I like the spacing of the letters, but nuggets is too far away from chicken. I mean, that's just ridiculous. You could put a whole boat between them. So let's go ahead and move that over. See what I did? And so bam, now we've got chicken and nuggets. Now it looks like one word, but you see where I'm going. So yeah, and like you can regroup them. And I think, I don't know yet, but let's find out. Convert to text. Actually, no. Okay, that didn't work. That's another one of those things I just don't play with, and you might end up knowing more about it than I do after a little while, if you don't already. So yeah, and that's about it as far as text goes. Just being able to play with it, move it around, and everything. And again, I would check out the extra fonts that you can find online. There's so many cool fonts that they don't charge for. I've seen fonts that go for like $200, and I wouldn't pay $200 for that particular font when I can go get 3,000 for free. You know, so it's just really like it's your option or your choice. But yeah, I would definitely. You can never have enough fonts, so I would check those out. Let's see. The next video, I think I'm going to do layers. Yeah, so in the next video, I'll show you how to layer your projects, which makes it more organized and easier to deal with. And I'll show you some things that you shouldn't do with layers that I've done that end up messing things up. So yeah, go ahead and let me know what you think. Ask me if you want to ask me questions. I'll check the comments and everything, and I'll get back with you with an answer or a response. And also, again, if my website URL is linked in the description, it means my website is up. It probably isn't fully functional, but it will at least have the written Inkscape tutorials that I'm planning on making, and they'll probably be a lot better suited for you. I know I get a little spacey and jump from point to point, but yeah. So let me know if you have any questions, and I will see you in the next video.